that I go out there and die for and play every game like it's my last. Not the game. We're talking about practice, man. I mean, how silly is that? And we're talking about practice.
Best believe that I'm top 3. The only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Put me anywhere other than one that is not me. It's beef, we strut a nigga block, that's chopped cheese. No peace, the butterfly sting him, that's Ali. You reach, I teach him with the handle, that's Kyrie. Machines, you hook like a Roman, that's IV. You a sheep, I'ma go, it's a difference, so watch me. You weak, all hooks, no punches, so block these. They mock me, I just show them how it goes. Try to stomach this thug life, they ring got the nose. On the grip, all heads coming out the foe. Connected from Cali to New York, nigga, so let it go. Made for this, nigga, I eat bars and drink flows. Thinking you woke into your third eye peephole. Line for line, this shit too easy, it's like a free throw. Mastered the game too early, this bitch a cheat code. It ain't a game, these niggas lame, state bring a shame. If I'm with an officer, it's a number in his name. We ain't the same, you want the easy pass, tell him change his lane. Shit, I've been through the fire, you can't stand the rain, take an aim. Tell him runner, he can try his best. Drive a car named after me, that's why I'm in the vet. Laughing these niggas once again, and I ain't break a sweat. Number 1 at everything I do, that's why I'm one west. The Lord is not the God of the dead, so when I die, coming back for my spot, so forever I'm top 3. Just tell him to watch this, janitor with the mop stick. You gon' need a defensive lineman to block this. On point when I bomb shit, 10 for 10 I do not miss. I'm barking with a full bulldog, it is not mixed. They can see that my mind's sick, I don't write, I find shit. I don't like it, then I'll switch. If I touch it, it's diamond. Tell a bitch that I'm God sent. It ain't because my kicks is built like 5'6", 5'7", is my bitch. Dangerous, high risk, I lose it, get another one. You think I'm talking about a girl, I'm talking about another gun. We here now? Hey look, it is what it is now. We don't fuck with the house niggas, we burn the crib now. I'm ahead now, and I hope they can head now. I don't care if you think it's it, nigga, I don't fear clowns. Silences make it sound like raindrop, that's a quiet storm. Get the job done in the view and get fired on. If you niggas standing for nothing, what you dying for? If you put real with real, that's how I was born. Walking this bitch ready for war, I'm in riot form. I want these niggas to see me flex, that's why I am armed. I shouldn't live in the crib, nigga, I should buy a farm to go through this shit so effortless. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3. Best believe that I'm top 3. Only thing is I'm not 2 and I'm not 3.
Pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the eye like Samson, I can't let no hold a lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Nigga think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying. This shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Circle up and stay alert. Another cop to stretch the nigga. He a demon, this an exorcism. Watch I bless the nigga. You took that oath in blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision. Let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit and I ain't listening. Is in fact a fiction. If revenge was a woman, now I stroke that bitch like Jack the Round War. We gon' run the summer, it's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crack as hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do damage, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young baby. How you real triggering on them dots, you a bird feeder. Claiming he a demon, was a demon to a cult leader. When he saying something, I ain't hear him, this shit light work. It ain't about who got the gun, it's about who gon' up that pipe first. I turn a bad situation to a game changer. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Free shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand and feed you, you won't never get that hand back. He bitch about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brother's blood. Everybody won't be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he won't, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. I'm a certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, out with that hollow sign, yeah, this the real McCoy. Feel like Gullah Jack when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still about my bread, still I think that's all that I enjoy. The way I get it, boy, lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his gang, pop out on them demons like I'm hell, boy.
All right, Shalom Israel. We the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. This is the Friday night Lashawan Qadash class. Go ahead and give it up. All right, we're gonna hop right into it. Last week we went over the prepositions, the possessives, you know what I'm saying, the prepositions which come before a root word, and then we went over the possessive adjectives which comes after a root word to give you context of what we're talking about as far as the root. And then we went over a couple roots. So tonight we're just gonna do a little review over these things. Gonna review the Hebrew alphabet and the Assyrian and the ancient Paleo Hebrew. We're gonna review the prepositions and the possessives. You know what I'm saying? As you should already have in your notes. I highly recommend, you know what I'm saying, for this Lashawan Qadash class, or any Lashawan Qadash class, you have a pen or a pencil, a notebook, and the Hebrew dictionary that, you know what I'm saying, we talked about the last two classes. Right now, I'm not sure if it's still $1.60 on Kindle, but $14.99. You can have a paper copy, or you can have an actual hard copy. I recommend getting both. You know what I'm saying? We'll have them for the school shortly, Lord willing. But I recommend you having it on your phone. So while you out, you know what I'm saying, you want to know what certain words mean, or you want to look up certain things. Pronunciation is all of that. You could just have it, you know what I'm saying, while you out. But yeah, I highly recommend doing that. We're gonna just review a couple things, and you know what I'm saying, we're gonna get right into it. So first things first, we're gonna go over the Hebrew alphabet. Of course, as we talked about last week, the Hebrew is read from right to left, unlike your oppressor's English or Spanish or whatever oppressor's language that you speak is written from left to right. You know what I'm saying? And another thing I want to clear up, you know what I'm saying, we'll see this and we'll be like, oh, so we'll say things like, so the Hebrew is written backwards. No, your oppressor is backwards. You know what I'm saying? Right. Your oppressor is backwards. What the Most High gave Adam, he did was correct the first time. It ain't need no editing and no changing. All right. So we just got to keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? This is the correct way. The way the Lord intended for it to be read is the correct way. Your oppressor got it backwards. And you know what I'm saying? Just put that in your chest as you learn and take back your culture. And you know what I'm saying? We're gonna go back over these alphabets. Brothers and sisters online, you know what I'm saying? Just practice, you know what I'm saying? As you, even though you're not in, if you're not in the classroom, you know what I'm saying, still repeat so that you can get your, you know what I'm saying, you can get your tongue acquainted to saying these characters and pronouncing these words and these characters. It's good to, you know what I'm saying, vocalize it. So even if you're not in a classroom tonight, just repeat after me. We got ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, taza, kwa, ra, sha, and God. All right. So I'm gonna try to do something for y'all tonight too, in just a little bit. But you know what I'm saying? Just at home, you should just like you did your ABCs when you was younger. You know what I'm saying? You did the you know what I'm saying the ABC song, and you just at first it was just a song to you, and then as you know what I'm saying repeated it over and over with visuals, and as you wrote it, then you started to be able to identify the different letters. You're gonna have to do that with this too. So I'm gonna try to do something for y'all real quick. So just bear with me real quick. I want y'all to just watch this real quick. So this is something that you could do to help you remember the Lashawan, Qadash, and the Hebrew alphabet. So you got, just bear with me. You got A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Ka, Ta, Ya, Ka, Lama, Nasa, I. Pa, Tza, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Ta. I'm doing that cadence for a reason. Y'all should, you know what I'm saying? Y'all recognize that cadence? You recognize that cadence, Priest?
Yeah, like Elemental P.
Yeah, it's like it's like the alphabet song. You know what I'm saying? You could do that with the Hebrew. So, you know what I'm saying? These are tools that we can use. You know what I'm saying? We got to be smart about it. You know what I'm saying? If we really care about this culture, we got to be smart about it. And do things to be able to, you know what I'm saying, put our culture in our minds, at the forefront of our minds, so that when we see these things, we're not fumbling and stumbling over things. So it's something you could try. You know what I'm saying? Rewind this video and pause it as much as you need to. But you know what I'm saying? If you got to make a song, make a song. It's going to feel silly. You got to do the Dougie or something. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do. But it's going to, just that repetition is going to help you. And eventually, actually, I ain't gonna say eventually, soon, very, very soon, we're gonna need, for us to be able to move forward with the understanding of the Hebrew, we're gonna have to be able to say the Hebrew alphabet fluently without stumbling, without having to, you know what I'm saying, try to remember or try to go back into our notes. We're gonna have to just do this, be able to do this freehand. You know what I'm saying? So you notice that I don't have the pronunciations with the letters. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Just go ahead, just look through your notes and say it to yourself in the cadence that I did. A, Ba, Ga, Da, Ha, Wa, Za, Cha, Ta, Ya, Ka, Lama, Nasa, I. Like, you should be able to do that on your own time. So we will be able to add more to our, you know what I'm saying, our belt as far as understanding the Hebrew. All right. So we got that down. What else? We're going to go over these prepositions and these possessives real fast. All right, this is just review. Again, you should already have these things in your notes. But, you know, we're gonna keep on going over these things every class so that we can get better at, you know what I'm saying, reading our own language, and we can get, you know what I'm saying, used to seeing these things so it's not so foreign to us. All right, so Shalom in crisis. Ooh, water. You just set him over there. You know what I'm saying? The water, sis. So, and as I said last class, these are gonna be this is gonna be the foundation of your understanding of this culture, of our language that the Most High gave us, right? You got the alphabet, you got the letters, you know, as you learned in kindergarten. Letters come together and make words, and then you learn root words. Then you got your prefixes and your suffixes to make bigger words, and then you put all that together to make complete thoughts. So it's just building blocks, you know what I'm saying? So the sooner we can get these building blocks under our belt, you know what I'm saying, the better it'll be for us as far as learning. So we got the preposition a. Salakia. We got the preposition a. So if you see that I in the beginning of, in front of a root word, it means I or I am. right? Ba, in or on, Shabbat Shemayim, or Ba Ratazah, in earth. So like, you got the da, do or make. Ha, you see that in front of a root word, it's saying the, and it's pertaining to the root word. The sword, ha-kara. You got the weapon, ha-zayan. You got, you know what I'm saying, the priest, ha-kahan. Whenever you see that ha, that means the. That wa is and. The water, Yahweh wa, Yahweh shah. Ya, he or it. Ka, as or like. And we got la, two or four, la yashala, two Israel, for Israel, right? Ma, from, of or from. You'll see this a lot in the beginning of a word. Well, we'll get to that later. I'm not going to overwhelm, brother. But you'll see that in the beginning of the word to reference the root word, of or from. Why, which, or pertaining, or slakia, sha, meaning which or pertaining to. Tha, thou or thee. And, you know, just, again, you should already have these in your notes. You know what I'm saying? We're just doing a quick little review before we go to the next thing. And, you know what I'm saying, just constantly, just like we talked about studying the Hebrew alphabet and being able to say it offhand, just without your notes, just being able to memorize it. You know, try and, you know what I'm saying, work these into your memory too. After, you know what I'm saying, you get the Hebrew alphabet down, just constantly, you know what I'm saying, go back, refer to your notes, and just take a look at these prepositions and possessives, because these are not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? These are all, you're going to always run into these things. It's not, you know, it's going to be something that, you know what I'm saying, you're going to constantly be running into. So it's best to just be able to recognize it and know what these things mean offhand. So next, we're going to get into these possessive adjectives. I got to do the cadence one more time. Okay, no sweat. No time, Christ. So just think about the ABC song. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, right? You can do that with the Hebrew. And it'll help you, you know what I'm saying, memorize it. So you got ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, za, qua, ra, sha, ta. And then, you know, when I was first learning, I would just go back just to finish the cadence to make it like the ABC. I would just go back over pa, za, qua, ra, sha, ta. Now I know my ABCs, you know the song. So just, you know what I'm saying? No sweat. But you know what I'm saying? Like, just at first it might feel silly, but just, I promise you, if you do it, it'll make these things easier to understand. And also, you want to make sure you're writing it too. So as you go over the ABC or the ABC cadence with the Hebrew, you want to be able to write it so that, you know what I'm saying, you get used to writing it, and you start to recognize some things. Because next week I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try to, if I got time at the end of the class, I'm gonna try to you know what I'm saying, bring something out. But probably gonna have to be next week. But if you're not writing these things at home, then what I'm gonna try to show you next is gonna be like, it's gonna seem like Chinese to you. Like, it's gonna be hard for you to understand. So we have to make sure we're writing at least, you know what I'm saying, one time. Just go through, you know what I'm saying, write it one time in your notebook at the, you know what I'm saying, when you wake up before you put on class, or, you know know what I'm saying, before you start. If you know you're about to get into a Lashawan Qadash class, it's good to just write it down. While the music is playing, you know what I'm saying? We play music in the beginning of the class as a, you know what I'm saying, an intermission before we get started. While the music playing, just write down your the Hebrew alphabet. And every week, if you do this every week, if you do this, you know what I'm saying, often, then not only will you get more familiar with the Hebrew, but just like with, you know what I'm saying, in kindergarten, then your ability to write the Hebrew, your penmanship will get better over time. So, you know what I'm saying? And Most High in Christ, the sister said the song form helps. Most High in Christ, I'm glad it does. I know it definitely helped me. So, you know what I'm saying, these are just tools that we could use. But we're gonna go ahead and move to these possessives, right? So these come at the prepositions came at the beginning of the word, and the possessives come at the end of a root word. So I'm gonna go over these right fast. So you got the ya, my or me. So we say salak ya. Salak is the root. Ya is the possessive. Forgive me. All right. Your, you or your. Or salak is your. So you got ka, meaning yours. So sham ka, your name. Right? Comes at the end. Wa, his. This is talking about, if you're talking about a noun. If you're just, this is, you know what we know what an adjective is, right? From, you know, kindergarten. It describes a person, place, or thing. Same thing with Hebrew. So like these possessive adjectives that go at the end of the root word, they're describing the root, the person, place, or thing that we're talking about is describing it as a possessive. Whose is it? Is it yours? Is it mine? Is it ours? Is it, you know what I'm saying? So just to give a little context, where are we at? Why, his, ha is her, right? So you see nawa at the end of a root word. I'll be talking about ours or us or we. It's like it's just, you gotta.
I have a question.
The
markings underneath the nawa.
Right.
What are the markings for? Your little markings there.
So we was talking about it a little bit last week. In the ancient Hebrew, you'll see these little. It'll be like okay. Let me see if I can write it a little bigger. Y'all need this, do y'all? You already got this. Y'all know, sir. Okay, go ahead and.
You got it.
You ain't got it in your notes by now. Lord be with you. You gonna pause, rewind, all of that. So look, all right. So we got now what? So I'm gonna do ba na wa. So Abanawa is our Father, right? You'll see little. You see little these little, this little mark right here. This means that you pronounce the letters, or the characters singularly. Like let me get out the way. That means you pronounce the character singularly. So it's a, ba, na, wa.
Oh, okay.
So.
And the one that look long, like one from one letter to the other, will be like bring them together.
Right. So like.
My name is
Oh yeah, most sound correct. Let me see.
Go on.
Oh yeah. Okay, I got you. I'm gonna do this, right? So we got the word con, right? So we know what con means, right? Yes. So you got con. You'll see that under. So you don't pronounce it as ka na like you did nawa, because it connects. So it's con. You drop the ah sound off of the last one if it's connected. Right, so we got what we got. You know sources. So now what? Are, us, or we? Abba Nawa, our Father. Kam is your, but it's a plural. It's turning the whatever you're describing into a plural. So you're talking to many people, and it's also masculine. So kam, as we talked about last week, usually if it's a plural talking to men, to make it masculine, you'll see the ma at the end. So kam. And then for the sisters, khan at the end of a root word. So if you see that na at the end, then it's usually talking about sisters. And it's plural, and it makes it feminine. And then lastly, we got what's good.
Okay, so can you give an example? Can you give an example of that, like with the masculine and feminine?
Let me see.
How like a word to use, or cause I know aqua means like daughters, and ak means
Aquaf. So aquaf is daughter, singular. Yeah. But okay, that's a perfect example. Hold on, let me. You mind if I answer? So okay, so Salakia, what time is it? So the sister asked about the black on the board was the paleo, the ancient. The red would be the Assyrian. But let me give you this real quick. So Aqua. I'm gonna write it in English. So
that means sister or daughter?
it means sister, Salakia. It means sister. Well, we're gonna get into that later. So we got Ak. So we got so Ak is brother, right? And then you got, so that's singular, that's one brother. Ak Yum. Ak Yum with the ma at the end would make it plural, and it would make it right, yeah. And then you got Aqua. Aqua. That's sister, singular. That yen at the end with the na at the end. That's how you would plural. We don't say aquaf yum.
Right.
And that could aquaf yen when you're talking about sisters. So a lot of brothers, brothers and sisters, like sometimes we'll get one concept, like okay, you say ak for one brother, ak yum for multiple brothers. We'll just be like, okay, so that means Aquath is one sister, and then the Aquath Yum, yeah, we'll automatically just apply that, but that's not the case. So when you're talking about feminine, it'd be Yan. That's more feminine. Yum. More time correct. You know, so I think we went over all the possessives, right? So. All right, so the next thing we're gonna get into, now that we didn't review the foundation, we're gonna get into a couple root words, right? So, and as we talked about, in the past classes, right? The Hebrew is it's a pictographic language. Right. 1 second. So pictographic language. So like every character, it relates to something. It means something. It's a a very visual language. So we're gonna talk about what the pictographs mean, where they came from, and like gonna talk about what the pictographs means, where they came from, and from these pictographs, we're gonna get root words, right? And you know, again, once you understand, once you master the alphabet, once you master once you become more familiar with the prepositions and the possessive, then you connect those root words and you make, you know what I'm saying, sentences, thoughts, you know what I'm saying, paragraphs. You build off of that. So again, once you get a new root word, once you come into a new root word, I highly recommend writing it down on a separate, you know what I'm saying, sheet in your notes. And that's how we're going to build our vocabulary, right? Being able to say things. Like everybody wants to know, you know what I'm saying, when you're trying to learn a new language, how do you say this? How do you say this? How do you say this? But you know what I'm saying? You know, this is that part of the class. We're going to learn how to say words, and then we're going to learn how to put, if we got enough time, we're going to learn how to put them together with prepositions and possessives. So we got the I, right? Oh wait, let me select you. Right. Before I get ahead of myself, you got the ancient on this side, and then you got the, you know what I mean, over here, right? So let me see. You got the ancient I and the Assyrian I. This Salakia. So this character comes from the visual of a ox's head, right? So, and the word for ox, or the word for ox is a lot. Right. So that's where that character comes from. Now, when you start to build words, and you'll start to see these pictures come together, and you know what I'm saying, it'll start to make sense once you start to understand the what the pictographs are talking about and where they came from. So I'm gonna give you the next one, and then I'm gonna show you something real quick. It's like you. So the I is a, you know, ox head. Now the Assyrian, again, as we talked about in earlier classes, it's a bastardized version of the original Paleo Hebrew. So this is how we originally wrote, and then we got, you know what I'm saying, we assimilated to our person's culture with the Assyrian. So you might see that these words look different, but as we go through what the pictographs mean, then we'll start to break down where it came from and how it became this. So I'm gonna give you go ahead and move on to the next. Salaki, let me know if I'm moving on too fast too. Just stop me. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got. Oh, Salaki. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let you live. So you got the ox's head. The Hebrew word for ox or cow is alap, right? So, and as you start to see words, right? As you start to see certain words, when it's pertaining to a specific thing, you'll see the word. How do I say this? You'll see certain characters in certain words that pertain to that character. So I'm gonna show you something real quick. You already got this? All right, so show you this. So we're gonna go over the ba, right? Ba. Then you got the ba there in the Assyrian. So the ba is representing it looks like the floor plan of a tent, right? So like I don't know if you've seen like what's it called, like an architect that draw a blueprint before they go and build you know what I'm saying, a structure or whatever building, they'll draw a blueprint. That's what this is. This is a floor plan for a house, and you get from the ba you get ba ya. All right. So Bayath means house in Hebrew, right? But you know, back in biblical times, their houses looked a little different. We were tents, so you see the triangle and the separation of the room and all that. But so you got and ba. So let me show you this before we move on, so you can see that these pictures come together and make, you know what I'm saying, words. So we had the before, right? It had the we had the earlier, which is an ox's head. Then we got the ba, which is a house. So you got ba. So we know what that word is, right? Right, Abba, father. Now you got the ox, right? Represents what? Strength. Yeah, the head of an ox is strength. Then you got the ox represents strength, and then you got a house. So Abba, the father, is the strength of the household. So these pictographs come together and start to, you know what I'm saying, make words, and it'll, as you start to recognize these things, then it'll start to make sense once you see it. So I'm gonna give you another one, and we're gonna get to this, but I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit so we can since we on the subject. So I'm gonna give you a second. I don't want to move too fast. So we know what this word is, right? I'll give you a second to try to give it a shot. And brothers and sisters in the online too, y'all could, you know what I'm saying, feel free to participate. I'll try to, you know what I'm saying, keep y'all interactive too. Right, get that brother a hand. Most High Christ. So Allah. Now we're gonna get to it later. I'm just breeze through it real quick. So La is talking about it represents like or it's like a rod or like a what's it called, a herding staff, right? So you're herding sheep. The staffs the shepherd staff got a hook on the end. So how you know what I'm saying, keep your sheep in line. So that comes from, you know, a word. I'm gonna give y'all the word later, but it just to give y'all another example, comes the word lamad, means to learn. Let me make sure I'm correct on that. Yeah, lamad means to learn. Now you got Allah. It's talking about the power, right? Or the Most High is where he teaches us, because he's our father. You know what I'm saying? He's our power. He teaches us, and he's the power that, you know what I'm saying, gives us the knowledge to be able to you know what I'm saying, rule over the earth, like it says in Deuteronomy. So you got Allah. I'm gonna wait until we're gonna come back to that, and go ahead and give y'all more of these pictographs. So Abba, already got the ba right. Ga. So you got Ga. So the Ga is talking about. It looks like a foot, right? So you see the leg and the foot there, and then you know what I'm saying. This is just like the bastardized version. It's like a stick figure. You know what I'm saying? 2 legs. So, and if this character, it refers to like, you know what I'm saying, walking, gathering, or traveling. So, it's good.
Traveling, like traveling, or just is it traveling or just walking and traveling? Like,
It's both. It's all. It refers to walking, traveling, gathering. You know what I'm saying, all those things. Now you got the Hebrew word gamal, right? That word means camel, right? And you know what I'm saying, easy way to remember that is, you know, back in biblical times, they traveled, you know what I'm saying, long distances by way of camel, right? So just a little word association, right? I'll give you a little second. Salakia. Did it go up? Oh, it's in the slide. All right. Well, I guess I'll write down the English translation too, right? So we already got that Gamal is camel, right?
Gamal is
Camel, yeah.
Right,
Okay, you already got that. Okay, most of the cards. I'm gonna try to write those, the English translation as well. Bear with me. So next we got the God. Make sure you see that. We got the God. So is your Da, ancient and Assyrian. This pictograph represents a door, right? So this pictograph represents a door. So again, back in biblical times, we lived in tents, so the doors looked a little different than you see today. But you know, that's what that Da represents. That's where, you know, Adam got that from when he was making the language. And the Hebrew word for door is dalat. So you got that. I'm gonna write it down in the ancient paleo too, so we can get a little visual. The so door.
That's the door?
No, door, just door.
Oh.
So ha. All right, next we got the ha. It's talking about, if you look at it, it looks like a hand, like I can't remember. You know, we weren't Picasso back then, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A lot of times it was carving in stones and in rock and all of that. So but it's like a hand, right? And it's like kind of like this, you know what I'm saying? Like doing this. So it's referring to like putting, it looks like a raised hand, right? It's like putting, like, it means to like put forth, like to do something with your hand, like put your hand towards something, right? Let me see. So you got the word hada, which means to put forth. So you got hada. Wow. Okay. Y'all good? Me to move forward? Okay, move forward. Next we got the wow. You know what I'm saying? So you got the wa. If you the wa comes from, you know what I'm saying, a peg, like a cane in modern terms, a cane, like a peg. So if you like a crutch, you know what I'm saying? So this is no, not quite, not quite. We're gonna get to that though, but so you got the it looks like a crutch, you know what I'm saying, or a cane, like the elderly, you know what I'm saying, walking with a cane, and that's just this Assyrian is just half of the wa, or a hook, you know what I'm saying, like something that you would use to like harvest, you know what I'm saying, grain, or you know what I'm saying. So you got the
So would it be like almost like a pitchfork?
pitchfork. Not quite.
Okay.
Not quite. Like okay, so you would use the hook to, you know what I'm saying, pull or like the harvest the grain, and then I guess you'll use the pitchfork to pick it up, right? So you got that. Let me see. Oh yeah.
And that means to pick up. What does that mean again?
Salakia. I should have wrote it down. It's hook. It's a hook.
Okay.
Wah.
So cane or hook or just hook?
Both. Wah means hook, but cane. It also it comes from you know what I'm saying. It looks like a cane. But za. Okay, most times. So you got the za. So this character comes from a weapon, like a hand weapon, you know what I'm saying? Use it for defense or use it as a tool, and it also refers to like a plow, like what you'll use for to, you know what I'm saying, till the ground to make you know what I'm saying, lines in the ground to plant seeds. That's where this character comes from. So We got za. That's where you get the word. That's where you get the word Zion, which means weapon.
So, okay, so that means the za would mean that the symbol would mean what?
Right. Like it. Yeah. Right. So as we see more root words, I'm just give you, you know what I'm saying, just to start, just a root word for each character, but it can, like, sometimes characters, the different characters can have different representations, and we might do this for other classes as well, like just go through a class where we just go through the characters again and then like find root words and the relations, but sometimes a character can have more than one representation. But right now we just gonna focus on the root word Zion, because you know that's where the character comes from. But how was that? Kai? Okay, more time. I'm still not moving too fast, am I? Okay, more time. Okay. Yeah, if I start moving a little too fast, just let me know, and I'll slow it down. Yeah, Ka. Oh, we got the Ka, right? So the Ka comes from like a wall or a gate or a fence. So that's why this character looks this way, referring to a fence or a wall or a gate. And the word for wall is, you got Chama. So okay, more time. Yeah, good for me to. We got the right. So the word for the character top comes from looking at a basket from the inside, like you're looking down on a basket. And usually, you know what I'm saying, in a basket, you got a circular shape, and then there's usually something like the cross in the middle is like the support for the bottom of the basket, you know, so you can put things in it without things falling through. So Hebrew word for basket is nah. Tana basket. All right. Next we got Yah. good. So you got the ya. And if you let me draw this a little better just for the sake of comprehension, right? So you got ya. This character comes from looking at a hand. So we had the ha, which was put earlier. We had the ha, which is putting forth your hand, which is talking about like putting, you know what I'm saying, putting forth your hand to do something, right? So this is like it's like an open hand, like almost like a fist, right? And we know the Hebrew word for hand, right?
Yeah.
Right. Actually, yeah.
What's the rep? This is that like open hand, is that it?
Say it again.
Is that open hand?
It's like a
It's a graphic this or is that-
right. It's like an open hand or like a fist, kind of like a, you know what I'm saying? Like this is what it would like a, this would be like the forearm, you know what I'm saying? Then you got the hand part right here.
Oh.
But they was, you know what I'm saying? Again, they was carving in rocks, you know what I'm saying? And carving in rocks and what's good? In there, getting it on.
So basically, it's a closed fist.
Yeah. But so you got, well, let me say this. It's best way to remember it, hand. It's open, closed. It's a hand.
Okay.
Either one. Yeah, just a hand.
All right.
And it represent it, so that's where the character came from. Adam looking at a hand, and that's where you get the word yod.
And the other one, that's what you said is Hadad.
Yeah, like putting forth hand, like putting your hands to something.
So it's like a, okay.
It's like a
making or something.
right,
Okay.
right, yeah.
Okay.
We're good on this, right? Before we know, we're gonna have a whole list of root words, and we just gonna as we add more root words, we're gonna be able to oh no, she got the eraser. But as we continue to do this, we're gonna, before we know it, we're gonna have a whole list of root words, and as we gain root words, we're gonna memorize the old ones because they're gonna be so familiar with us. Right now, I'm trying to use words that are common or familiar that we use often, like Yad, Zayan, Bayath, you know what I'm saying? Just so we can start to, memorize the words that we already hear, often. But as we move forward, we're going to run into more, root words that pertain to these pictographs. And, you know what I'm saying? But it might be tedious at first, but, this is how we're going to build sentences and, build our vocabulary. You know what? Pretty soon, the whole goal is to be able to speak Hebrew off the top of our head. Just, be able to talk to each other without our damn oppressor. Being able to hear and decode what we saying. We would be able to have private conversations. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole goal. So we just building our vocabulary right now. So we got damn right, yeah. They be doing your feet and they be laughing at you, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
They said something disrespectful, you don't even know it. You think they, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the whole goal right there. So right now we're looking at the ka. Now, this is talking about this came from, like, if you look at it's talking about your palm, right? So this is where this is where Adam got the character. Looking at right, yeah. Yeah, so you look at your palm, you got the two fatty parts of your palm, and then you got the lines in the middle. So the ka comes from your palm, right? So you got ka, da for your palm, right? And again, we're gonna have to be very careful with how we pronounce the ka and the cha. I know it seems silly, or it feels uncomfortable at first, but it's very important for us to make that distinction, because, like, we so familiar with one another, and we pretty familiar with the Hebrew, so uh we just say ka, like certain brothers' names, like, for example, my name Call, we brothers call me Call Kazaa. My name is Call Kazaa. That's how you pronounce that ka. The camp leader, his name is not Karab, it's Harab. So just keep that in mind. So once you see that CHAA, just ha. Like, it's good to, it'll just show that, we care about our brothers, and we care about our language and our culture. You know what I'm saying? But so this is the ka, and then move on to
That's hard to say with a dry mouth.
You said what?
It's hard to say with a dry mouth.
Yeah, no, I ain't gonna lie, my mouth getting dry right now.
Okay, just say it all.
La. Okay. La. Right. We talked about this a little bit. I'm gonna show y'all this, and then we're gonna get into some more of the picture. We're gonna make it make sense with the pictographs, right? So we got the la. And again, this pronunciation, this is just for us to be able to look at it and say, with our ink, like, because we're Americanized. So this is just a pronunciation. But we got the la, right? This is the what were we talking about earlier? The shepherd's hook. That's what it's called. Salakia. I had a brain fart. A shepherd's hook, or a learning stick, right? So, back in the day, sometimes we, us, we adults now, but as kids, we used to get out of line, and your grandma, your mama tell you go get a switch from outside, so you can learn. A learning stick, or a shepherd's hook. So that's how the shepherd gets the sheep to learn. So it's a right. So you got la. That's how you write it in the paleo. And also I'm writing in the paleo right now, just for the sake of just getting, being able to get the information. But after the class, I would recommend, just going through and writing with the Assyrian too, just practicing using and seeing the Assyrian. Getting used to using those characters, especially those Assyrian characters that have a different ending, a different ending character, like the ka. Like sometimes you'll see a different character for the end of a word than at the beginning. But like as we go through these things, you know what I'm saying, just write it down, and then you know what I'm saying, just practice writing it in the series too. Once we get these root words. La ma. Oh yeah, okay, so we got the word so are we able to read this word? Just let me know. Oh, good night. Anybody want to try to read this word real quick? It's a word that we're familiar with it. If I say it, you're gonna recognize it. But just remember, just look at the characters, and then remember what the connectors mean. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of practice. No, yeah, you get it. But get that brother head though. That's what that is. And we know what Alahai means, right? Angels, the power, you know what I'm saying? The messengers, the Lord's messengers, or the Lord's angels. So we got the in there, the strength. You got the La, which means to learn. You got the Ha, which means to put forth your hand. And then Yum, which is a suffix to mean to pluralize something. So you got Allah Yum in English. Oh, I got you. So basically, like, you got the strength, which is pertaining to, you know what I'm saying, an authority, lie, learn, and teach, and then put forth hands. So the angels, what do the Lord's angels do? The Lord's messengers do. They are the authority, you know what I'm saying, they're the authority in the earth. Like, you know what I'm saying, like, they're the like a husband. It's like it was right, like yeah, right. So like just like the husband for, you know what I'm saying, a wife is supposed to be the guider and the protector, supposed to guide. So the Alahayim are the authority, and then they, you know what I'm saying, you got the La for learning, and then they put forth their hand and for the Most High. So they, you know what I'm saying, go up and down Jacob's ladder, send the reports, and they, like in Genesis, they form the heavens and the earth. They get an order from the Most High, and then they put forth their hand to execute it. So I'm saying that's just an example of how these pictographs come together and form words, and it becomes practical. You know what I'm saying?
What would be the root word with Alahaya?
Alahaya.
Alahaya.
So it's one angel.
Oh.
That would be one angel. Then a Yum would be plural. And generally, if you're not specifying a gender, you'll just use Yum.
Oh.
But the root is Alahaya. I just want to get that quick example real quick. Ma. Okay. So next we got the ma. Right, so this is another one of those characters in the Assyrian that have the, you know what I'm saying, the character that changes from the, if it's in the beginning or the middle of the word versus the end of a word. I would, if I was with brothers and sisters, especially if you have this this printout of the like Hebrew and Assyrian, I would maybe, you know what I'm saying, highlight on that chart, or, you know what I'm saying, make a note, star, whatever you got to do, just make a note of that in that Assyrian. Sometimes at the end of a word you use a different character just for your notes. But you know what I'm saying, we're gonna get into that. I probably won't have time to do it today, but next class I want to try to get into that so that we can so this doesn't, you know what I'm saying, trip us up so much. But so you got the ma, right? This comes from Slocky. Mayum. So you got Mayum. The word Mayum means water. So that's where this Hebrew character came from. You see yeah, you're right. So comes from water. So that's the Hebrew word for water. Like, Mayum with a ma at the end. Yeah, these two are this is the Assyrian. And if you see on that chart, so at the beginning of it is a little arrow on the chart too to say at the bottom to say these words or these characters at the bottom, they change if you're using, like, okay, this is a perfect word, right? Because it has a ma at the beginning and at the end. So I'm gonna show you.
It's like, okay, kind of like symmetric, pretty much.
Well, say this like it's
Symmetric, like, you know, my young.
Well, no, not necessarily. But, so you got the ma in the. So you got the ma in the ancient or the Slocky. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this right here. So Mayum, how you would write this in the Assyrian would be ma, and you got the ya, and then you got the ma at the end. So both of these are a ma. But since this is at the beginning of the word, whenever you see the ma at the beginning or the middle of a word, it'll be written like this. But if it ends a word, then it'll be written like this. So, and it's only 5 characters in the Hebrew, in the Assyrian Hebrew, that, you know what I'm saying, do that. But as you read, you'll more often see this one because it comes at the beginning or the middle of the word. So you'll more often see this ma, but don't forget about the one that changes. So when you see it at the end, you can recognize it as a ma as well. You see what I'm talking about? You don't get it? Okay. So let me think. So it's like, okay, so let me give you this example. So if you see, like, okay, if you're let me use his name real quick. So Sarah, Abraham's wife, right? Well, I'm Sarah. I'll write in all capitals anyway. You write in. You got Sarah. I'm so used to writing in all capitals. So in the name Sarah, you got a capital right here, right? A capital. But if you see an S in the English language, if you see an S in the middle or the end of a word, it'll be lowercase.
Right.
So that's similar to what's going on here. It's similar. So if you
Which one would be the
Capital.
yeah capital?
So I wouldn't say it's capital, but I'm gonna say this. If you see this at the beginning or the middle, you'll use this character for the Assyrian. The Hebrew or the ancient Hebrew doesn't do that, but the Assyrian does.
Like that's right.
Yeah, you know. Right. But I'm gonna try to you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna go in a little bit more in depth on that the next class. So cause I ain't gonna lie, when brothers sisters start trying to learn the Hebrew, usually this is the most difficult part to like comprehend. Then you got at the end, you know what I'm saying, mom. So this is usually the hardest part of the Assyrian, understanding the Assyrian and how it's written, because it looks, a lot of the characters look the same, and then also we got these characters. You got the beginning, the middle character, and then at the end it changes. So that would be I would say usually the most difficult part about trying to learn the Assyrian. But once you learn that, like then it becomes, you know what I'm saying, it just becomes second nature. Like it becomes like once you learn it, and we're gonna get into it, you know what I'm saying, next time. I'm gonna just really focus on you know what I'm saying, answering all those questions about that and breaking it down, making it, you know what I'm saying, simple for us to understand. But yeah, but it's really not that hard. Like once you are able to ask all your questions and take the notes, see them in their uses in like certain words, like we just used my yum. Like once you start to see that more often, then it'll start to become easier. But now I'm gonna get into that though. I'm gonna make sure I break it all the way down thoroughly, so I don't have to rush and try to cram it in to the end of the class. I'm gonna just do a real thorough lesson next week. But we gonna get the rest of these roots right fast. So we got the now, right? Now. This is another one of them. So at the beginning of the word, you got this character in the Assyrian, and then at the end, you got this character. This is another one. So just, you know what I'm saying, take a mental note, highlight, square, or whatever you got to do, put a star next to it so you can just know to keep an eye out and look out for it. So you got so you got no one. This word means sprout, or like see a seedling like coming through the soil. That's what this is talking about. Something new, something becoming new, right? And I'm gonna give you this too. I'm gonna give you this too, just so we can see again, you know, how these characters. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm waiting till later, but I'm gonna let y'all get that down. But okay, so one is sprout, talking about something becoming new. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that character comes from.
What you're saying now? Forget that.
With the
About the word was like a Nayan or something like that. It would be the top character to use for the Syrian. The end of the character would be the one at the bottom.
right, most times, right, exactly.
And it had that symbol in the middle that you used before too.
Like what you mean?
Yes, the little symbol, the yeah. I think it was a little. This one here, the yeah.
Okay.
That would be in the middle because of Nayan. If it was like a Nayan.
Oh yeah. Right. So I'm let me put this just to illustrate what you're saying. So we got. So in the Lord's Prayer, we got Nathan, which means to give. So, and feel free to, you know what I'm saying, feel free to write down this root word as well. You know what I'm saying, just so you can have it. No. Nathan. So this means to give, right? So let me put this back up there. So you got the beginning of the word. So both of these are na, but this will be at the beginning. This will be at the end. All right.
Nathan.
Right. Nah.
Nathan.
Right. Yeah. No. And then a nah at the end. Right. You need me to? Are you 12? Okay, most time. Okay. So you got side now. So this is just, you know, in the Assyrian, you just got the one character. There's no, it doesn't change at the end. I think that's okay. But so we got the side, right? This comes from like a flag, like, you know what I'm saying, like when you establish your territory, or you know what I'm saying, like you know what I'm saying, the oppressor, you know what I'm saying, they stick a flag. You know what I'm saying? When they go to Mount Everest, they put the flag up there. It's how you establish your you know what I'm saying, your territory, right? So that's where this comes from, a flag. So
Would banner be the same thing with that?
banner. I wouldn't.
It's different, right?
It may be. I would have to look into that because in certain contexts, like words can be like different words can be used depending on the context. So I would have to look into that and then get back at you. But referring to, so I'm gonna give you two words for this one because they kind of go hand in hand. So we're gonna get 2 for 1 today. So we got WAP, which is how you say flag, right? In the Hebrew. And then you got Ma, which means to establish, right? So establish a territory, establish ground, establish rulership. You got, and you would do that with a flag nowadays. And you know what I'm saying? So we got.
So you're saying it has 2 words?
Yeah. Well, as I was saying earlier, a lot of different characters, like you'll see, like it'll be several different things that could represent that character. I'm just giving you just two root words that you can use and you know what I'm saying, build your vocabulary with for right now. Just because these two things, usually most of the characters have multiple different representations. Like we talked about, what was one, the guy, leg, and it also represents like a camel's hump. So that's how you get gamal, because it's talking about traveling, or you know what I'm saying, gathering. You usually travel with, back in those times, with the camel, right? So most characters have more than one representation, but I just wanted to get y'all these real quick together because they kind of go hand in hand. So I'll give y'all a second to get that down. Okay, so you got I, right? You got the ancient and the Assyrian. And this comes from okay, so you got the Assyrian. This is the I for pronunciation. Put that up there. That's where your oppressor gets the I from. But this character, it's just, it comes from the Hebrew word for I. So EYE, right? So Ayan. So, and just to, you know what I'm saying, for understanding, it's not to be confused with Ayan. Like we say Ayandabar. It's not, that's not that word. It's Ayan. Ayan it's a Ayan, AHYAN, meaning nothing. So Ayandabar, the bar is speak. So you get speak, don't like how we say thank you. don't mention it.
Say less.
Yeah, like right, yeah. And that's how you know that this is our language, because we do that now. You know what I'm saying? It's just we do it innately. Like don't mention it, right? But you know. Okay, right. Pot. You got Syrian. Here's another one that has a, you know what I'm saying, a different ending. Let me see. And so here's another one that has a different ending in the Syrian. So you know what I'm saying, just take a note, and then next week we're gonna, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna delve into that a little more in detail. We got the pa. This is talking about it's a representation of a mouth. So you got pa, which is, you know, mouth in Hebrew. Mouth. So you got, you know, so we got a couple more before we get on the side of here. It's like it is out. I don't want to move too far. Okay, most time first. So real quick, we got wow. So we got the Hebrew word alawat, right? That's talking about right, general. So alawat panya, stand up and prepare to salute. You face the general, right? So we already know is strength, va is referring to learning. So Allah wa is like a crutch, or like a, you know what I'm saying, a peg, where you see the elders usually, you know what I'm saying, carrying a peg. Allah wa. And then you got the pa at the end. So you got the strength of the nation teaching, and this will refer to like age, like season. You know what I'm saying? With the peg, you see a elderly man with a cane and a beard, you automatically associate that with season. So just to briefly again, just see how these pictographs come together, and then the words start to make sense once. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
That's what AHLAWAP.
Right, yeah. AHLAWAP. Where we at? Okay, so we got the Tazah. So this comes from like a hunter's tool. So, like a tomahawk. Like you use a tomahawk for several different reasons to, you know what I'm saying, to chop down, you know what I'm saying, the tree for wood or chop wood. You can use it for, you know what I'm saying, hunting an animal, defense, warfare, all of that. So it's a hunter's tool. So that's what the word tazayat, that's where the character tazak comes from. You can kind of see, if you look at it, kind of looks like an axe or like a tomahawk. You got tazayat, right? Go to the next. Wow. So You got the qua, right? This is talking about a snare. Like, okay, if you look up an ancient mouse trap, I wish I had it on the screen so I could show you. But if you look up an ancient mouse trap, right, it'll look like something like this. So it'll be like, let me get my arts and crafts on. So you got one end that'll look like this, and then you got another end that'll look symmetrical. And then it'll be like a piece of bait right here. Then the mouse or the whatever the creature will come get the bait, and then it'll trigger for this end to close and snap on the animal. Like a more like a mouse trap. Like I don't know if like you seen like a mouse trap and like
actual plant, the plant.
No, I wouldn't. Similar. I wouldn't quite say that. But like, just think of like a mouse trap like sitting there, got the cheese on it, and then a rodent comes and tries to eat the cheese, and it triggers the other end to like come and snap on top of it. Like that's like a modern mouse trap, but this is how the ancient mouse trap looked. So it was like two ends, like so. This is like the two identical sides, like laying on top of each other. So if you were setting it up, it would open up like this. So you got Qadash from mouse trap, or from not mouse trap, but like snare. Let me write that down. Snare. Trap. Snare. All right, we just got these three more. Bear with me. We're gonna get on up out of here. Right. So you got the ancient paleo Ra. You got the Assyrian. Comes from the word Ra'ash, which is head. So this character comes from just looking at a man's head, like in, you know what I'm saying, profile. So yeah, 1 second. Our last two. Shah.
I didn't get the spelling of the last letter.
Oh, okay, Salaki. So you got Ra. That's how you know. So we got the Shah now. So the Shah comes from, let me make this a little bit more defined. So the Shah comes from teeth. So you see like a, you know what I'm saying, an animal, or, you know what I'm saying, a person got the Shah comes from, you know what I'm saying, the word shun, the Hebrew word shun, which means teeth. And this is where your oppressor obviously gets their English W from, you know what I'm saying, our ancient language. So shun. And then last but not least, we got the tha. Tha. So the last character, the tha, comes from there is an ancient. Then you got the Assyrian over here. Comes from the Hebrew word thal. It's right in Hebrew too. We got thal, which is mark. So like X marks the spot, or you know what I'm saying, how you would mark your, you know, like a mark, you know what I'm saying, how you would make a mark. That's what that's referring to, like, you know what I'm saying, the oppressor, or the oppressor got the mark of the beast, and you know what I'm saying, the people who do after the oppressor, they are, you know what I'm saying, they got that mark, right? Yeah, marked with Christianity, damn right. So, you know what I'm saying. We're gonna go ahead and end it right there. The water, you know what I'm saying, for y'all enduring. I know it could be a little tedious, but you know what I'm saying, we making a whole lot of progress, you know what I'm saying. And once we get these basic things down and we can like start applying these prepositions and possessives to the roots, start memorizing these roots so we can get better at speaking the language, then it's just gonna start to it's gonna start to pick up. But you know what I'm saying, now that we got this list of root words, we can, what I would do is go home, practice writing them in the Hebrew, in the ancient, in the Assyrian. I would you know what I'm saying, practice playing around with the prepositions and the possessives. Like, okay, so you got shan, which was teeth. Okay, shan shanya will be my teeth. You would have you know what I'm saying, just practice, you know what I'm saying, putting together, you know what I'm saying, some of these root words with these prepositions and these possessives, and you know what I'm saying, just like we can build our vocabulary that way. But you know what I'm saying, we're gonna go ahead and salute out. Shalom Yahal Bashim Yahshua Barakathum to all the brothers. Shalom Yahal Shema Latah Bashim Yahshua to all the sisters.